The basics of Bear Hill Shire are always going to start with a squad, which is usually going to be a sergeant, a private, and a corporal. The corporal usually fights to the left or the left flank of the sergeant. The private usually fights to the right flank. That way, if you ever have a platoon engagement, the weak is in the middle and the strong is on the outside. The basics go like this. We have a squad, which is again a sergeant and two squires, so a knight and two squires. The second squad conforms or makes up a platoon. So squad, platoon would have a sergeant without a spear. These sergeants would have spears. So the sergeant, sword and shield, whose main job is to protect the lieutenant, who has a longsword. The lieutenant defends and directs from the back. The sergeant will protect the lieutenant, and also what's called an auxiliary sergeant or an aux sergeant, who will come up and fit gaps, plug holes, do flanking maneuvers to get around the other team. So it's squad, platoon. Next up the line would be a company, and that's where we again have two more squads. So this would be squad 1, squad 2, squad 3. That's sergeant. Next squad and their sergeant. And then there would be another lieutenant commanding that platoon, and another sergeant defending that lieutenant. Just to keep schemes consistent here, I'm just going to try to use the same pieces. So we have a lieutenant, an aux sergeant, lieutenant, aux sergeant, sergeant commanding his two squires, sergeant commanding his two squires, sergeant commanding his two squires, sergeant commanding his two squires. And in charge of this whole group here, which is called a company, would be a captain. The captain usually uses two swords or Florentine. The captain also has a aux sergeant defending and helping him. This is one half of a battalion. So this is a company strength. Then there's the captains in the back, controlling their company. So there's two companies here. If I was to put a line here, this is where the division would be between the two companies. In the back, we have the general, who commands the battalion. The general has a lieutenant as an aide, and usually two runners. So these would be like privates or corporals. So general, lieutenant, private, private. This guy's job is to save his ass. This guy's job is to save his butt. This guy's job is to save his ass. This guy's job is to fill in holes, fill in holes, fill in holes, fill in holes. Or do flanking maneuvers. Okay? Battalion, company, platoon, squad. When we start talking about which squad and which company are you with, there's a numbering system that's pretty straightforward. And it starts like this. We have squad number 1, battalion number 1. So everything is 1st Battalion. Then the second thing is we have first, and you're going to be going from the general's face to the left. Okay, so it would be Company 1, and I'm writing upside down here, so forgive me. So I'm just going to say Company 2, okay? This is the line right here between Platoon 1, Platoon 2, so it would be Platoon 1, Platoon 2, Platoon 3, Platoon 4, okay, so there's 4 platoons, 2 companies, 1 battalion. And then we go into numbering the squads. And the numbers again go from the left. So it would be Squad 1, Squad 2, Squad 3, Squad 4, Squad 5. So this would be Squad 6. This would be Squad 7. And this would be Squad 8. And I do apologize if I'm writing these numbers backwards. Like I said, I'm writing them upside down. So if I was to find this group right here, would be the 3rd Squad, 2nd Platoon, 1st Company, 1st Battalion. These guys would be the 6th Squad, 3rd Platoon, 2nd Company, 1st Battalion. If you have more than 1 battalion, they're divided into regiments. So this battalion and another battalion would be all in 1 regiment. If you only have that much, then it's going to be called an army or a corps. So the marshal controls all the generals. The generals control all of the captains. The captains control all of the lieutenants control all of the sergeants control all of the privates, and the corporals and the squires. So if there's any kind of breakdown in leadership because of attrition or losses on the battlefield, let's say this private right here dies, not really much happens. If this sergeant dies, this sergeant envelops these 2 squads. If this lieutenant dies, this lieutenant picks up these 2 platoons. Okay? And if the captain dies, the captain takes up both companies. And usually the general will reassign and re-infill ranks. That's the basics of the Bear Hill Shire structure and organization as far as squads, platoons, companies, and battalions. I've got more information in the charter about what your jobs are specifically as far as fighting skills go, but this is just a basic overall view, and as you go up through the ranks you're going to acquire more and more skills and more fighting styles and what we call battlefield maneuvers. And that's where this is just a starting point. You don't really fight from this all the time unless you're vastly superior in numbers. So what you want to try to do is make sure that you're using your troops to the best of your knowledge, and that's where the generals and the captains and the lieutenants all can get their sergeants and their squires to where they need to go. Thanks for watching.